thank you. I didn't know we had teleprompters. I thought those were for the Democrats. Well, I was asked to speak for Congressman Paul today, and I got to thinking it's really hard to talk about 30 years worth of constitutional consistency in 15 minutes. So I thought that I would just share some things with you about Congressman Paul that you might not know, and possibly share some things that the media doesn't want you to know. As a lifetime Republican, I also wanted to share with you from my heart, because I believe that Ron Paul is our party's one and only best hope to beat Obama and restore America. First of all, Ron Paul represents the 14th District in Texas. He's not a normal congressman. He's a little bit different. The 14th District is hurricane prone, but yet Ron Paul talks about abolishing FEMA. The 14th District is heavily agricultural, but Ron Paul consistently votes against farm subsidies. But he keeps getting reelected year after year after year. Why is that? Maybe we should ask John McCain. John McCain once said to a staffer, "Ron Paul is the most honest congressman in Washington." Ron will always tell you the truth. He will always answer your questions honestly, and you have proof of that if you watched any of the debates. Ron will always answer the question the way he wants to. He doesn't care what you think, what the moderators think. He stands steadfast toward his principles. And his principles are all based upon the Constitution. Lobbyists never beat a path to his door because he doesn't participate in crony capitalism or pay-to-pay politics. Ron Paul's only special interests are the Constitution and you, the taxpayer. He's never voted to raise congressional pay. He's never voted or never taken a congressional junket anywhere. He's frugal. He returns a portion of his congressional office budget to the U.S. Treasury every year. And Ron Paul will not even take a congressional pension because he feels like he's stealing from the taxpayers. Ron has served 12 terms in Congress during 3 time periods. He holds the sole distinction of being the only congressman to have won election 3 times as a non-incumbent. In 1996, Ron re-entered politics for the 3rd time, and he faced an uphill battle. Newt Gingrich, George W. Bush, the NRA, and the Republican National Committee supported his opponent, an incumbent Democrat who switched parties as a result of the Republican landslide in '94. In that election, Ron Paul was determined to do one thing. He wasn't going to run on anyone else's terms. He ran on his own terms that he believed were right. To Ron Paul, there's no value in winning unless you stand for something. He received 51% of the vote. He had faced down the Republican establishment in a Democrat-held district, and he won. But now that he won, what should his goal be? To Ron, his goal was very simple, but it was something very unusual for an elected official. He decided that he would do exactly what he said he was going to do and stick to the principles of the Constitution. So Mr. Smith went to Washington and he ended up voting by himself quite frequently. But something surprising happened. In the next election, he received 56% of the vote. Then he received 60% of the vote. Not only could Ron Paul do what he said he would do, but he could get reelected and consistently improve his voting record. A few years later, the Democrats didn't run anybody against him. And then last year, because of the presidential campaign, he did get an opponent, but he received over 75% of the vote. This year, Ron Paul has announced he will not seek re-election to Congress. The taxpayers are losing the best friend in Congress they ever had. But he's doing this for a reason. He's focused on winning our nomination for president so he can protect the taxpayers a lot more than he ever could do as a congressman. Ron Paul has run against the status quo. He's beaten more incumbent politicians, and he's won more elections than any other presidential candidate. And here's something the media doesn't want you to know. Ron Paul is the most electable candidate in the 2012 presidential race.